power of your Spirit to shine your light in the way we live. Send us out in the power of your Spirit. As we've received, may we freely give. Send us out, send us out, send us out for your glory. Let all we do be praise to you. Send us out for your glory.
Well, thank you for continuing to join us this week. This week we are spending time in Paul's amazing chapter 12 from the book of Romans. It'd be really worth you reading it all in one sitting. Paul here is talking about our response to what God has done for us. Paul's saying in the light of the gospel, of all that I've told you about before in the previous chapters, this is how it should show up in your lives. The free gift of God should transform us, our minds and our actions. Back in Romans 5, Paul says this: you see, at just the right time, when we were still powerless, Christ died for the ungodly. Very rarely would anyone die for a righteous person, though for a good person someone might possibly dare to die. But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. God, Father, Son and Spirit, loved us. That's why the Son came from heaven and allowed himself to go to the cross, because we were loved. Love is the most overused word in our language, perhaps. Sadly, we cheapen it, don't we? In that same conversation, we can talk about loving a chocolate bar and then loving our children, and two, hopefully, very different meanings. For Paul, love is a word of great power, full of emotion, but also full of real gritty, practical action. Real love is seen. Love is not just a sentimental feeling without any consequence. For God, love meant a great sacrifice, laying down a life, giving everything for that love. And so it's no wonder that when Paul comes to talk about our response to the gospel, how we're to live out of what God has done for us, love and the practical outworking of love are central parts of his instructions. We're going to read from Romans 12, 9 through to 13. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good, be devoted to one another in love. Honour one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervour, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. We know, don't we, that love must be sincere. Like we said, we can bandy the love word round very easily. We can love a TV programme and in the same conversation talk about our love for a person. And the words, I love you, are easy to say to somebody. They can be thrown out there very casually. We can even use love to manipulate others. If we say we love someone, perhaps they will do what we want them to do. But we can see God's love is sincere, and it's backed up with action. God's love is a love that is self-giving, not self-serving. So it'd be good for us to examine ourselves. How do we use the word love? Are we imitating God's perfect and sincere love? Be devoted to one another in love. We've talked about this before. We see that devotion to one another in the early Acts church. They were devoted to prayer and to worship and to serving one another. They were an attractive community of love that drew others in. Our devotion to one another, according to Jesus, is a marker that we really are his followers. So, how are we devoted to one another? Are we just devoted to those we like, those we agree with? How about those others in our church family? In the words of Paul, in his great chapter on love from 1 Corinthians 13, we read this: If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain. Our practical serving of the Lord, of each other, our prayers, our hospitality, they're not born out of love. They're just a noisy irrelevance, according to Paul. A clashing cymbal, a noisy irrelevance. It's challenging, isn't it? But if love is God's motivation for saving us, then But if love is God's motivation for saving us, then selfless love has to be our motivation for serving him and each other. We must live a life of love in word and deed. May God bless us as we think about these things together. Amen.
Let all we do be praise to you. Send us out for your glory. We're laying down our lives and living sacrifice. We're living for your glory and your praise. We're taking up our cross. We've counted up the cost. We're living for your glory and your praise. Send us out, send us out, send us out for your glory. Let all we do be praise to you. Send us out for your glory. Send us out, send us out, send us out for your glory. Let all we do be praise to you. Send us out for your glory.